Yeah, let's talk about AT&T Pebble Beach. Very tough course. Historically great and popular tournament, and he had never won it before. And he did. And it was so cool to see. Rory McIlroy, who I think is a great leader. I think he stood up for a lot of positive things. His game's been kind of a miss the last year and a half. He's had to change some of his game in terms of equipment and style, hitting off the tee. Rory McIlroy finishes at 21 under par and wins the AT&T, and that's a really tough course. I saw you play that one time and shoot the ball into the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down the middle of the fairway, pal, not off the cliff. Anyhow, Rory McIlroy, get this, on the back nine of the final day with everybody chasing the leaderboard, Rory McIlroy goes 3 birds and 1 eagle on a 6-hole window right at the turn.
Nice.
He blew away from everybody. He's such a good guy. Rory McIlroy winds up winning the AT&T. Soccer. I don't have an explanation for this as to why this happened. Manchester United got rid of one of their legendary scorers over the weekend, let him go yesterday, and they traded him within their own league. We're talking Marcus Rashford, who has had some injury problems and then was in a doghouse and got scratched 11 straight matches by Man U and their coaching staff. He goes to Aston Villa in a $43 million transfer package. So Marcus Rashford, who is on the outs, is going to Aston Villa. Formula One racing. They're about to open the season. Team Mercedes gets good news. They lost Lewis Hamilton, their 7-time world champion, 105 career wins. He went to Ferrari. They signed an 18-year-old driver. Kimi Antonelli is going to replace Sir Lewis Hamilton in the cockpit for Team Mercedes. He just went through his rookie test. He got his F1 license. He's 18 years of age, and he's going to be driving in Formula One, so that's going to be fun. We also obviously have got baseball. Former baseball commissioner Fay Vincent, very controversial guy. He replaced Bart Giamatti when Giamatti died of a heart attack, weeks after Giamatti concluded that Pete Rose bet on baseball and banned him from life. Anyhow, Fay Vincent replaced him. He just passed away at the age of 86. Had fought a long battle with cancer. Think about what he had to go through. He had to go through the Holocaust of the whole Pete Rose acceptance of the penalty and then Rose's decision to fight the lifetime ban after he signed the document. Giamatti had to survive the Giants-A's Earthquake World Series.
Yeah, I remember that.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also the one that was at war with the union and the baseball lockout that impacted the start of the 1990 season. And he was so angry at the union. And then the owners got angry at him. He wound up having his contract terminated. So he had a really tough run after Giamatti died of a heart attack right at the end of the whole Pete Rose saga. Fay Vincent, a Yale man, passes away at the age of 86.
Wasn't Fay Vincent maybe the last of the sort of independent, commissioners? Because at some point it went to Bud Selig. And then once it was Bud Selig, you knew the owners were controlling it rather than having, it wasn't like, the Kennesaw Mountain, guy that was, the tough guy run the program.
Yeah, it wasn't Kennesaw Mountain Landis, I'll guarantee you that. Fay Vincent got very angry at the owners and at the Players Association led by Donald Fear and said, I have to work for these people. And I'm not necessarily sure I like working for these people. And, of course, he was removed as commissioner. That brought us Bud Selig. And there were bumps in the road and good times and bad times with Bud Selig's leadership. But he walked into a really tough situation when Giamatti dropped dead because he inherited the whole Pete Rose mess. And everybody was against the commissioner's office because this is Charlie Hustle. Well, Charlie Hustle gambled on games. It was a big issue.
Well, wasn't there like some kind of a promise made with Rose and Giamatti, but then Giamatti passed away, and so he wasn't able to fulfill the promise?
Pete Rose was of the opinion, I serve this suspension, then I can come back. And Fay Vincent says, this is your signature on the agreement. This is a lifetime ban that you signed. There will be no reinstatement. And that story went on and on and on. And Pete Rose obviously was still a very public person.
Mm-hmm.
And Pete Rose kept bringing it up. Pete Rose, I don't know if you ever heard this story. Pete Rose would go to Cooperstown in the summer when the Hall of Fame game took place. And he was barred from going into the Hall of Fame, barred from the ceremonies. He would set up on a card table on a street corner in downtown Cooperstown and sell memorabilia with his autograph on it. He had no pride whatsoever. And it was to me, it was terribly, terribly embarrassing, but he was fighting what he agreed to, which was a lifetime suspension. And right up till his death just months ago, Pete maintained he belongs in the Hall of Fame because his memorabilia and his records are in the Hall of Fame. But he bet on baseball.
He's right. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. There is a portion there that has his memorabilia, even though he doesn't have a plaque there. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame. You cannot tell the story of baseball history without Pete Rose. So you got to include him. You got to include an asterisk and maybe a 3-sentence explanation of what his situation was, but he has got to be part of the deal. I
kind of buy that because you can't tell the history of baseball without Charlie Hustle.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, now you're not going to argue about we can't tell the history of baseball without Barry Bonds and his asterisks. Is that next?
Yeah. He belongs. Clemens belongs in there. A-Rod, everybody. They need to be in there.
Mr. Capitalist here. Holy cow. This guy's got an explanation for everything. Okay. Hey, those are topics on the table. We do sports talk on this podcast the way it should be done, just like we did Sports Talk Radio. Topics on the table. Brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers.